Hey, how are you guys? Today we're gonna be making a moving platform. First of all, there's two ways of making a moving platform, at least that I can think of. I actually used the other way already in my game previously. If you guys, let me explain it first. So you could actually have an animation. You can have an animation for a game object, and you can also trigger the animation in game, maybe with another script and you can do that. But today we're gonna actually be making a moving platform, and we're gonna make that cube move with an actual script. So in my opinion, this might be better for you because that way you could actually have a goals, and you can move those goals to whatever you need them to go. For example, this is the end product, right? uh, we're gonna go play. Let's go scene. So if you can see, we have the cube right here. We have the first goal, which is right here, and the second goal, which is where the cube is right now. So if we go to the cube, which is the one that's moving, I made a couple of booleans, right? Not all of them have to be public. I make them public so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see it. But let's click on active, and you will see that the platform will go to the goal. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you guys. And then the second goal, boom, and then it's gonna return. It's just that simple. The good thing about making it with code is like actually is checking on a vector on the update function. So it's gonna keep looking for that goal even if it moves. You could actually make uh, a game object that's going to be moving, and it will still follow that game object. So that's pretty cool. I mean, let's go back. Now let me show you what you can do with this end product that I have right here. There's a couple of things. There's a couple of things like a little modifications that you can do. Oh, let me go back here. Let's say it's active, right? If the platform stops being active, it would just stop, right? Let's say I don't know how you guys are gonna work with the platform, but you can have like a pressure pad maybe, and then maybe if you leave the pressure pad, then the platform stops being active. That's one thing that you could do, and it will just stop the platform. However, I have another boolean right here, which is called returning platform. So what it does is I'm gonna show you. Instead of stopping, you said well, okay, so instead of stopping, the platform will actually go backwards to the goal number two or to whatever you set it to be. So I just put goal number two because the platform starts on goal number two. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's if you want the platform to go back to the previous position, to the original position, whenever you're not activating it or anything. So basically, what you would do is just check on the returning platform, and that's it. That's it. Whenever you start it, let's go back to the scene. Whenever the platform would not be active, it would just go back. All right, so I do have it right here. You guys are going to be asking, why do I have a game object called tutorial? Well, because I actually tried to record this video before, and I'm doing it for the second time. But we're going to make a brand new script, and we're going to make a second game object. Let's create an empty. Let's go, I guess, tutorial 2. All right. This tutorial, but this tutorial is going to be, let's just make it around here. All right, so inside this tutorial game object, we're going to create another game object. Now we're just going to make a cube, which is going to be just the floor. And in this game object, we just modify this to like maybe 80 and 80. So we have a nice floor over here. This is not really that important because I'm not even adding a rigid body to the main platform. So the platform will be flying. So it doesn't really need a floor, but it's just so you guys. So it's a little bit nicer for you guys, I guess. Now, inside the tutorial, well, obviously you guys don't have to have a tutorial. what is actually important to be all together is this. I'm gonna show you. So we're gonna create another empty. This empty is gonna be called platform, right? Inside this platform, okay, now this is important. Inside this platform is where you're actually gonna add your cube, which is gonna be the platform. Let me modify this to like maybe 0.5. Maybe make this 2. Yeah, so it looks a little bit more like a platform, kind of, right? And then inside the platform, you're also gonna add an empty, sorry, empty, and we're gonna add another empty. All right. So the first empty is gonna be called goal1. Second empty is gonna be goal2. All right. So right now the empty is gonna be at the same position as the cube is, right? I would say that it would be better if you put one of the goals on the same position as the cube is. So we're gonna modify the goal1. We're gonna put it a little bit more to the right here, so that way the cube, which is the object that's gonna have the script, is gonna go first to the goal1, which is right here, and then it's gonna go back to the goal2, which is where the cube was originally on. All right, so this is basically what's important. Make an empty game object platform and then make a cube with 2 goals. Now, it is important that also you do not put these goals as a child of the cube, because if you do that, whenever the cube will be moving, the goals will be moving as well. So the cube is not gonna find the goals ever. All right, this is a lot of introduction for something as simple as this. So we're just gonna try to work on this pretty fast. Let me create just a little material. We create a material. Let's just make it red. I'm not even gonna put. Oh, sorry. Let's make it red. And I'm not even gonna name the material because I'm gonna erase this at the end of the tutorial. Right, so we have the cube right here. Let's create our script. This is gonna be called moving platform tutorial. All right, this is not what I want. All right, so we're here. We don't really need to start on this. You could, if you want to set them to start as something. However, I'm gonna be using it on different platforms, so not all of them are gonna be the same. So I don't really need to start. We are gonna need to update though. Let me erase this so it's a little bit cleaner. So first of all, we're gonna create a public game object, and it's gonna be called goal1. Just the same name as the game object name. It doesn't have to be the same name, obviously, but we're gonna keep it simple, and we're gonna create another game object, and the name is gonna be goal2. All right. Inside these 2 game objects, we're gonna add this 2 goals. Let's wait for it to compile. All right. We're gonna into the cube, and we're gonna add this script right here. Boom. And then we're gonna add our goal1 into the goal1 game object and goal2 into the goal2 game object, right? So now we have access to this 2 goal positions, right? Because what we really need here, what we really need from these 2 goals is the position. That's why we're adding it here. All right, so now since we have this, let's create a boolean. So we're gonna create a public bool, and it's gonna be called active. That's gonna let the code know if the platform is being active, right? So inside the update, we're gonna do a couple of things, right? First, we're gonna do a boolean. If we're gonna if statement, right? So if active, then we're gonna make it do something, right? This is where all the code is gonna be in. Also, just in case you guys don't know, if I do if active, this means if active is equal to true, right? So I could do also this, and it will mean the same thing. All right. but you don't have to. If it's active is equal to true, then we're gonna work inside here. Now I'm gonna be creating two vector threes, sorry. And you guys, I said it was a pretty simple tutorial, and it is. If you guys don't know how to use vectors, I'm pretty sure you will still understand. We're gonna create a goal one vector, right? And we're gonna create another vector three, goal two vector. Um, there's you don't really need to create the vectors right here. You can create everything on the update function, but I'm just gonna do it here. So it's do it like that. So it's a little bit easier for you guys. Have all the variables right there, and we're gonna say that our goal one vector, sorry, is gonna be equal to. What we're gonna do is on this vector we have to make a vector that's gonna go from the our game object, which is the cube, to the goal. So how are we gonna do that? It's actually super simple. We're gonna say that this vector is gonna be equal to the goal one dot transform dot position minus this dot transform dot position. All right, it's super simple. If you don't know how to use vectors, it doesn't really matter because this is really simple. We're creating this vector and we're saying that the vector is going to be equal to the transform dot position from the goal minus the transform dot position from the game object that we have the script on, which is the cube. And that's it. Now we have a vector that's going from the cube to the goal number one. Now we're going to make the goal number two vector. It's going to be equal to goal two dot transform dot position minus this transform dot position. A cool thing about this is that since we're calling this on the, we're setting the value on the update, the cube is always going to be updating the positions. So basically that means that even if I move the goal position while the game is running, it will still be calculating where the platform will have to go, just as I showed you at the beginning of the video. Now that we have this vectors working, let's use transform dot translate. All right, what does transform dot translate do? Basically, what it does is just moving the object, right, using the transform. The transform, if you guys don't know, is this right here. So it's gonna use the cube and it's gonna use the transform to move that cube. There you go. And what are we gonna do? Well, we just have to put a vector 3 right here, which the vector 3 is gonna be goal 1, because that's the first goal that we're gonna go to. And we're gonna more goal 1 vector, and we're gonna add more to it. But for now, let's just put goal 1. Let's save it and let's go back to our script. All right, so boom, it built, and now you can see that we have this boolean right here that's active. That's a boolean that we created before, right? So if we go play, let's go scene, you're gonna see that the goal one is right here, and if we click active, boom, it went to the goal one. You're probably thinking that I lied to you because it was supposed to be moving and it just went there like right away. Well, this is because the transfer to translate when they're way too fast for us to actually see it. So we're gonna do something else right here. Actually not here. We're gonna do it on the bottom. We're gonna create a public float, and we're gonna call it platform speed, which is gonna be equal to 0.05 maybe. Let's see, and we have to add the f at the end because it's a float, just in case you guys don't know. All right, and then we're gonna multiply this to platform speed. We're gonna save this And now this variable is going to be multiplied by 0.05, so that should make it considerably slower. We have it right here, so we can actually modify the speed while we're playing. Play scene, and let's click on active, and oh, there you can see now that it is working. However, I'm pretty sure you realize that it's not reaching the goal with the same speed all the time. Let's make it a little bit slower so you guys can maybe see it better. You see, like, it starts fast and then at the end it just gets slower. We can modify that really quick by making this vector 3 normalized. Alright, so since the vector is normalized, it's just going to be constantly going at the same speed. Let's save it and let's try it one more time. Let's go to the scene, and now we can make it active, and we see that it's going at the same speed all the time. And now we have another little issue. As you can see, the cube is just shaking. You'll be asking why the cube is shaking. Well, we can check right now. It's transforming the position, and apparently it's not really reaching that position. Why? Let's check why. So if we go to goal 1, we see that the goal position is 13.89 and is reaching 13.89. It is reaching 13.89, but it has a couple of other numbers over there after, so it's not exactly reaching 13.890000. So it's just trying to do that, but it can't really do it. Why? Because maybe it's going too fast to actually reach that position. But that's really simple to fix. We're gonna have an accuracy. Well, we're gonna fix it, but not right now. Actually, it will be a little bit easier if I just continue and then fix it at the end. But just to tell you guys, this is really easy to fix. You might want to have like an accuracy, so you have like a little range for the goal to arrive before it stops, instead of having an exact number, because exact numbers are a little bit hard to control, because depending on how fast you're going, the goal might not be able to reach that goal at that exact number. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna use the boolean that we used, but we haven't created it yet. Okay, let's create another boolean, right? Let's create a public bool. This one doesn't have to be public, okay? I'm just making it public because I want to show you guys how everything is working. You can make it private, but we're gonna make public for now, and we're gonna be called it trip1, right? And we're gonna have another public boolean that's gonna be called trip2, right? So what we're gonna do now is this what we created right now is basically trip1 because it is going to the first goal. So we're gonna go if trip1, then we're gonna make this happen. All right, so if trip1, this is gonna happen, and then we're gonna go if trip2, and then we're gonna make another transform translate, but this time we're gonna use the second vector, the goal2 vector. So we could technically copy it, but I'm just gonna write it down so you guys don't get confused. From that translate, and we're gonna use goal2v dot normalize times platform speed. All right. Transform. There you go. Okay, so what is this gonna do? Well, basically now it's first gonna check if it's active, and then it's gonna check if trip1 is active or trip2. Both of them should not be active, because if they're both active, then both of these are gonna be working. But with the code that we're gonna make, they're never gonna be both active. At least if you modify them with the booleans only. Let's go to the scene, and now you're gonna see that if it is we're gonna activate the trip one, and now we're gonna make it active. All right, so it is gonna go to the trip one. We're gonna have that little issue from the box shaking, but that's fine for now. We're gonna activate trip one, and we're gonna activate trip two, and it's actually gonna go to the trip two. And if we remove it, it's still gonna follow the trip two location. It's gonna reach it. We still have the shaky platform, but that's fine. That's fine. But now we know that we're closer to the goal, right? Let's stop the play. And this is what we're gonna do. Now we're gonna make the platform return, go to the second goal after it reaches the first goal without us having to click it, right? So this is gonna be pretty easy. There's a way of knowing how far or how long the vector is, and that's by getting the magnitude of the vector. You guys are probably scared, but it's super easy. We're gonna make another if statement, and this time we're using right here the goal one vector. So we're gonna do goal one vector dot magnitude, right? And the program is gonna calculate the magnitude by itself. We don't really have to do anything. And we're going to say that if the goal one vector dot magnitude, so the magnitude of the vector, is less than, let's say, 0.5. We're gonna try 0.5 for now. Then we're gonna make it do something, right? That something is going to be going back, but we have some booleans that are making the trip one happen and trip two happen. So the only thing that we really have to do is make the trip one equal to false and the trip two equal to true. All right, so basically if the magnitude reaches 0.5, then it's going to go to trip, it's going to make trip one false, so this is not going to be working again anymore, and we're going to be making trip two true. So this one is going to start working. It's going to start using this if statement because this is only working if trip two is true, and it's also on the update function, so it's constantly checking on this if statements, of course, if the active is actually true. And then we're gonna do the same thing for this one. We're gonna what did I do? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys. Sometimes I get a little crazy. I was talking and I got a little confused. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do if goal. Now we're gonna use the second vector, the goal two vector, dot magnitude minus 0.5. Now this is the thing. Remember that I told you that we were going to fix it? I actually did not fix it at that point because we just can't fix it right now. We actually just did. Why, you're going to be asking? Because instead of telling the vector to return where the magnitude is equal to 0, 0 will be basically when the object reaches the goal exactly. That might never happen because you guys saw it was shaking trying to reach that 0 position, but now we're gonna give it a little bit of slack. We're gonna say 0.5, so you don't really have to be that accurate. We're gonna tell we're basically telling the game object that he doesn't have to be that accurate. Just if it reaches less than 0.5, then you can just return, right? This is something that you can actually change. Let me actually copy this right here. Let's switch it. We're gonna make this true, and we're gonna make the trip two false, right? This is something that we can actually change, and I'm gonna tell you why you might want to be able to change it eventually. Let's just create another float. Let's put it right here. So it's gonna be public float. Public float. It's gonna be called accuracy. And this accuracy is going to be equal to 0.05 f F because it's a float, and then we're gonna copy this, and we're gonna switch this 0.5 to accuracy. I'm sorry, guys. So accuracy. All right, we're gonna save, and then it should be almost done. It should be actually almost done. It should actually go back whenever it reaches that accuracy. We're gonna make this strip supposed to always be on. You could make it always on the start function. You can have a start function and make this be true whenever the program starts. However, you could just click it in here and then it will always be there. Because I'm gonna have different platforms, so I might not want the trip one to be active all the time. It depends on you. Depends on you. Because right now, if you click it when you're not in the plane mode, then it's always gonna be true. So, all right, we're gonna start it, and now we're gonna make it active, and you're gonna see how when it reaches trip one, it's just gonna go back to the trip two. Reaches it and it goes back. That's perfect. We have a moving platform working. Perfect. All right, so our moving platform is actually working now. Now, the only thing that we would have to work on now is making the platform go back if it's deactivated. Because right now, if it's deactivated, let's make it active. If we deactivated it, it just stays there. And then if we activate it again, it just continues. So that might be what you want to do. Not sure. But maybe you want the platform to actually go to the starting point. If you want to do that, it's actually super simple. Right now we had this if statement that if it was active. Now at the end of this if acting if statement, we're gonna add another. We're gonna add an else, and on this else, what we're gonna do is use this right here, the one from trip 2, because trip 2 was the one on the original position. So we're literally just making it go to the original position, and we're gonna do the same thing that we did here, but we're gonna do if the goal to dot magnitude is less than the current. It's But we're gonna do the opposite, because actually what we're doing now is, before we were saying that if it was less than 0.05, it was gonna do something else. Now we're gonna do that if it's more than 0.05, which is our current accuracy, we're actually gonna make it, sorry, if it's more than 0.05, we're actually gonna make it go back. I hope that you guys kind of understand what I'm trying to say. So basically, this was different because when it reaches that accuracy, when it's at least or less than that accuracy, it's going to make something else. But now we're saying that if it's more than that accuracy, we're going to make it go back, right? So whenever it reaches the accuracy or less, it's actually going to stop. All right, so we're gonna save it, and we're gonna go back, and that's it. We actually would have a working platform. I'm gonna go to the scene now. You see, as I told you before, trip one is always going to be checked because we checked it before we accessed the play mode. Now we're going to activate. Also, if you want the platform to be active all the time, that's also something that you could do. Now we're going to deactivate it, and it's not shaking. You see, if you ever have more issues with shakiness, you can just put a bigger accuracy. Like let's say I have this on 10 or 20. Pretty fast. Let's say if it shakes, you see, it's gonna stop actual the actual loop because it's not being able to fulfill that accuracy. But if that happens, just put more accuracy. Oh, this is pretty big. Let me actually do. You need more accuracy than what we had before. All right, 10. That's not bad. And then it's gonna be working. Because that's the thing, the faster the platform will go, the more accuracy you'll need, because the faster you go, the harder it will be for the cube to actually reach that accuracy, right? But obviously you guys do not want the platform going that fast, so that's an exaggeration, but just showing you guys that it is possible. You just have to adjust accuracy. Let's go back to platform speed to 1, and let's go back to 0 0.5. Oh, 0 point, sorry, 5. 5. Ah, all right. 0 0.5 is still pretty accurate, if you ask me. Um, yeah, we have our platform working. If it's not working, then you just go back to the original position, and then that's it. Thank you for staying this long, guys. Thank you if you stayed for the whole tutorial. I hope that it actually helped you. This part will be just me showing you just what you need, just in case you do not want to see the tutorial and you just want to see how I made it. You just want to copy the code. That's also fine. I don't mind. Um, you are going to need an empty game object. Um, in this empty game object, you're going to create a cube, which preferably put the position as 0 0 0, right? And then the scale is whatever you want, obviously. Now we're gonna have goal 1, which is gonna be wherever you want the platform to go, and goal 2, that is going to be the same location as the cube. So that way the cube can go to the starting position, because we actually implemented that on the code. And we can go now to the script, which is this right here. If you need to write down the script, you can just write it down right now. I'm just gonna go down really quick. I might add it to a file maybe, but it's a really simple script. This is just all it is, so it's really easy. I'm gonna go back again, just pause the video, and you'll be able to write it down. All right, that's it. That's all what it is from the script. And here you might want to check on the trip 1, because that's what's going to make it go to trip 1 first, and then this active is what's going to make the cube actually work, right? So the platform to actually move, this is what you're going to actually activate with another code, with whatever you want, or maybe you just want it to be active. So if you want it to activate, you're just going to click on active, and the cube is going to start working. We have the platform speed, which is going to make it faster or slower depending, and this is the accuracy. If you have an issue of the box of the platform actually shaking and it's not finishing the looping, then you just make the accuracy higher and the platform will work. That happens because it is hard for the platform to reach the actual goal if it's going too fast, so you just make the accuracy a little bit higher, so you give it a little bit of slack to the platform. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys liked it. If you want the platform to just be working from the get-go, then just click on active here, click on trip 1, and then that's it. The platform is going to work as soon as you start the game. Thank you for watching, guys, and that's it. If you like the video, just like it, subscribe. This is my first video, so hopefully I would be making more videos in the future.